Hey guys, welcome to this week's show. You may notice I have two guests this week. Corey, normally here. Travis liked his last visit so much he wanted to come back. I just think he has a lot to say, but welcome, Travis.
Not really. I'm probably a little more mild than you think I'll be, but
Oh, it's because you won.
yeah, I told you guys, don't doubt David. He's like, no offense to Nick, he's a great GM, but he's my Braden bye week. For whatever reason, his guys don't. If you guys weren't tracking it on Saturday going into that day, I don't think either one of us had 3 goals. No one had 10 assists, and then both teams kind of blew up on Saturday. But it was just a shit show for it to even be close. Because if his team showed up at all Monday through Friday, it's over before the week even starts. It was just his team never shows up for him ever.
We had some very unexpected results, I think, last week, at least based on the predictions. So we'll get into that. Yeah, and some interesting trades. Yeah, I guess let's start. We'll talk about last week's results here. Le Champion tied the 2023-2024 dumpster fire. Travis, go to you first on this one.
I don't know. Like you're pretty beaten down, so it's kind of tough. But yeah, Mark had that great upgrade on Sunday to kind of get him there. But yeah, I think you're just kind of in that slump. But yeah, I didn't really see Mark staying in it. His goalies, like I said, you get so many injuries on your team. It's kind of tougher. But yeah, I don't know how he pulled that out.
Sunday Magic. I sold on Sunday where he bought, so
His help.
yeah, his help. Mine might have. I don't know. I didn't even go check what Carlson's plus minus was on that day.
Well, like the craziest part too is like Curtis Lazar hadn't scored all year. I picked him up on Friday. He scored Friday. Then I shipped him off on Friday or on Sunday to Mark. He scores again. And then that McLeod guy, I don't know what he has done all year, but he was just a throw in from Daltrey because Daltrey said his week was over and he wanted Nikas, so he threw him in. And I just shipped him off to Mark, and it's just the most ridiculous thing that Mark even stole a point from that week. Like that week should have been over.
Oh well.
Yeah, a lot of things had to happen to get that tie, right?
Yeah,
That's
For
it.
Mark's sake, it worked out. 14 goals, 22 assists, like not a bad offensive week for him. Goalie stats were subpar. I mean, he beat you in save percentage by 0.001, so like that hurts, right?
yeah.
Um,
One
he doesn't
save,
have
one
a
more
he doesn't
save.
have a gritty team, so I think he'll get some points. He'll get the shots. He'll get some power play points, but I don't think he has the team to compete with some of those deeper stats. So we'll see. Big win, big tie for him, right? To get a point here. Still winless though.
To his credit, though, he's tied me and Nick so far. Nick
Those are two big
so,
dicks.
like
Yeah.
there's some promise there, but I don't know what he doesn't have like I don't know that any top tier talent. I would say he has a couple pieces, but
Yeah,
that is what I think he needs to do is fix his keepers and then be kind of. I think he'd be in a better boat, right?
yeah, exactly. But we'll
You
see.
need assets to do that though, right? Like to get a keeper player, you have to move like 3-for-1s and stuff. And no offense, I don't think I have great keepers either. So I'm trying to be unbiased with it, but like I don't know how you fix him this year with what he's got. He just doesn't have the assets, in my opinion. But what do I know? I make bad trades all the time. But
Well, Yossi's value was high 2 years ago, right? Put up 96 points, something like that. Last year, very underwhelming, but there's no promise it's going to keep happening. So, I mean, he had a great keeper, but he didn't flip him quick enough to get a great keeper back, in my opinion.
Yeah, for a guy
Small
who's
window.
probably I don't know if Yossi should be a keeper, right?
He
But
should have the 1 year. I would agree with that. That 1 year, if he could repeat that, but it was a one-off.
like with defensemen too, like depending on your team is built, like if you have a super gritty forward core, then like you can ride Yossi's and Morgan Riley's and shit. But if you
But
run teams that are more like normal forwards or like assists, goals, power play points, and you need your defensemen to be like they can be minus fours like Ferrero and Burrows, but as long as they got to hit and block, right? So like most teams don't really wouldn't want a Yossi because typically there's more forward talent than there is like grinders like Tom Wilson's and Timo Mears, right? So then we fill our rosters with skilled forwards and we fill it up at back and demon that grind. So the Roman Yossi need isn't that really to exist because there's more forwards that are productive, you know? It's like
it's true.
Hughes, Quentin Hughes, great player, but again, we have so many forwards that do that for us. You'd rather have like an Adam Larson or a Truba or someone, right, to fill all the categories rather than just stacking goals and assists.
The thing
Right.
is, it's just they have to perform point wise at that elite level, or their value diminishes quickly, right?
That's it. You're doing nothing else, right? Like where the guys who grind back there are goal and assist, you're like, fuck yeah, let's go. Where like a Roman Yossi is like one hit, no points, -2. It's like, well, fuck, you didn't do anything for me.
It's like Nurse last night for me. He didn't get a point. They got their butt kicked, but 8 hits in the game, 3 shots, 2 blocks, like 4 pims. Like, who cares? You get a couple assists when you have that.
That's stupid. That's so
That's
many
it.
hits.
He's filling out the other slot stats that you don't usually get, right? With
It was
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Tenorti on Sunday had 9 fucking blocks. Like that'll win you. Like that will give you like a third of your blocks all week. It's like, please give me more of that. He missed the next game because I think he got hurt blocking 9 shots. But like that's what you want back there.
That's the risk, right?
spot,
Like,
That's it.
yeah.
Casey is defeated. Forgot about Dre. I guess we'll go to Travis again for this one because I'm sure he wants to be the one to talk about this.
Like I said, it's not a good win. Like I said, neither one of us had done anything before Saturday. He got fucked on Zaros because they didn't start those 2 goalies, either one, until like 20 to 3 or 4 whenever the game started. And of course he put Zaros in. I don't know why he started Montembeau over Talbot. That's a different thing, but so that kind of fucked him there. He lost saves. I don't think he wouldn't have got 43 saves, but it was just stuff like that where like he just couldn't catch a break. Like I said, I think he had 2 goals and like 6 assists going into like Saturday. I think I had even less than that, and then both teams blew up. But it just wasn't a good performance from either one, really. But Mark Stone, I guess. Thanks.
4 shorties in the one night for you. That has to be like a record for fantasy. Like 4 in a week is unheard of. Let
I think the
alone
record for a week is 4 or 5. I was checking that out too. I was curious, but
yeah, you had a solid week minus your goalies. You got saves. You got out of that though. That's important, right? You got your point there. You didn't need it, but yeah, a slow week for
I
him.
think those stats are very good. I don't think 38 hits is a lot. Like
Agree.
9 13 is not good. Right, 10 goals is not enough. So like I think it's just a week where, like I said, like Nick got 9 points from his Tampa Boys on Saturday. So of his 20 points, he got 9 of them from one game. Like his team just didn't perform, right? Like Drusadel's been dry, Hyman's been dry.
Yeah, just like went pointless on the week for him.
That's it. Like it's just a Nick versus Travis kind of week, right? Where like Nick's team looks like it's fucking 10 times better, and they don't show up, right? I still like his team better than mine, like no doubt. I'd take him over me to win it all for sure. But yeah, like I said, it's not an accurate depiction of both teams for sure.
But it's good for you to be off to a 3-1 start.
Yep.
Until this week, Casey's gonna get me. He's my daddy.
Svetch me a drink 3-1 now after defeating Paulie the goalie. Now 0-4, right on pace here for his golden cock year. Corey, let's go to you for this one.
Probably the most boring matchup of the week. The only one that was really decided fairly early on, unless Sean had a killer comeback on the weekend. 5 game-winning goals out of his 10 goals for Sean. But his team didn't do much else besides that. So we know Dan's going to compete. If he can get his goalies from 5 down to, let's say, 3 and get a little bit more man games up front, I think that'd be helpful. But yeah, good win for Dan. Just also 3-1 now. And keep Sean undefeated. We all love to see that, right? So
Winless for the year. That's what I want to see, Sean. What do you think
Do
of
it,
that?
Matt.
Nothing to say on that one, Travis? No?
No, I think like I've been saying, I think Dan's drafted really well. I think this team is probably one of the teams to beat. Like if he fixes his goalie situation up a little bit, but he'll be fine. If I'm winning games with my team with no goalies, he'll be fine. So
You guys are proven you don't need goalies in this league.
what are the overrated?
I beat you last week, Shane. It was no goalie wins, or goalie stats.
Yeah.
So it's possible.
Yeah,
Or you can be like
8-7 though. Those were free stats for me then. Like,
oh, it was a close one. But
What's the close?
completely different than the days of Derek stocking up on like 6 goalies and just looking for blocks, hits,
all
and
his
pins.
grind.
Yeah, he was looking.
I like that team.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
Hughes your daddy. 2-2 now. This guy was on the verge of selling. if he lost this week at a 1-3 record, I still think it was a little early, premature, but he beat Pacioretty and Rumble 8-6. Corey, let's go to you for this one.
Yeah, and this comes down to Thompson. Thompson in that third period against Anaheim made Nick lose the goals against average, lost by 0.05. And that would have made it a 7-7 week. I don't know if it would have been enough to keep a save percentage up. But yeah, good week on both teams. They both Casey had a great week. 2 shorties, 4-game winners. Not a lot of the deep stats. He went 0-3 on shots, hits, and blocks, but enough to come away with the win. That's good. Now take down another guy who's looking good too at 2-1, right? So
Georgie fucked him on Saturday. That 7-goal game by Georgie fucked Nick.
It wouldn't hurt him so much if he had Hill.
I know. I was hanging with him last night. Gave it to him a little bit. I sent him yesterday morning. I sent him Thompson is better than Hill, but one cap lowercase capital. He tilted and called me. It was just bad, right? MCT could have scored that goal, but the game it had to be a game winner. It had you know what I mean? It's just so unfortunate. You don't think George is gonna allow 7. Don't even pull the guy. Leave him for the whole 7, and then Sunday Thompson. He's looking good after 40 minutes, and then the third period he allows 3. It's that's brutal.
But you know what? He has to be all in on Thompson after he made his choice there. He can't go back now. And Thompson's played well. That was the only game he's done bad, to be honest. He's still threatening to. He's splitting every start still. So
yeah, I love that it just cost him the week. And
yeah, Hill with a shutout this week.
He would have had the shutout the day before.
There's just a lot of parity this year too, right? There's 1-0-4 team. There's no 4-0 team. There's a bunch of ties. A bunch of teams at 2-2. There's really no crazy leads so far.
That's great.
Nice to see though. Yeah.
Did y'all try the beef? 2-2 after losing to. Hold on here. What was it? Mentally Bedarded.
Love the name.
That's a good name change. 10-4 victory for Plums here. Travis, what do you think of this?
It was my boy Demko. I think came in to save the day.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I said, I went to the flea market with Daltrey on Sunday, and it's that's when he started posting that stuff in chat. It's if you just would stop making trades, you'd be so much better off. And then he'd make trades for Deacons, which I appreciated because I don't think he's going to do anything this year. But yeah, goaltending, I don't know. Zaros, I don't think Zaros would have helped him last week.
Hill would have.
Hill would have. Yeah, Hill would have helped him for sure. I think all his teams in limbo right now. He doesn't. He has good keepers, but other than that, this team's just kind of. Yeah. And Bedard, I think he's drafted well. He paid a lot for Bedard, Bedard Demko, and that's working out for him. But yeah, I think Plums is a playoff team for the first time. I think since I joined the league. I think Daltrey is going to be fighting for the cock. I think it's Marks, but
he's already got 2 wins though, Daltrey. So
yeah, but
he's got a significant lead on that golden cock.
It's true. But Sean will make it happen. Sean's guy will show up.
I hope not.
Good week for Plums though. Demko, like you said, spot on. He was the big difference there. He's been killing it. He was comfortable all week though. I know I didn't look too scary of Daltrey come back unless something amazing happened, 2 shutouts in a night, which is unheard of. So
yeah. No, I think it's a good win for Plums. Establishing himself as a better team than he's been in a long time. Daltrey, his team's just getting worse the more he tinkers with it. But now he has to tinker with it because he needs to improve it. So he's got that draft capital, but
he's got that Brayton 6. He's got that Brayton 6, so he's got 2 lottery picks at least.
Yeah, but you know how hard it is right now to move picks for some real value.
No, you keep them, right? You just keep your lottery picks, and you might draft 2 and 3, and just trade yourself
better next year.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
What's that?
Who knows what he'll do? I didn't think he would sell off a couple big pieces this early either. So
yeah, the Jasper Bratt one was kind of. Was he blowing up in the preseason before he sold him, or was this preseason?
It was first week, I think.
Yeah, And then
Yeah.
Nazaro straight for Markstrom. Like he netted a 6 out of that, but like that's a downgrade.
But like Saros, like he gets so many starts.
Yeah.
Like it was surprising that he didn't get the start the other night because that was only the second game of Nationals this season. He hasn't started.
Yeah, I think he was probably ill or something. I didn't really read it, but like he was started, so something happened in between
Yeah.
for him.
Maybe he was just tired and like, hey, let's
It would
start.
have been like a 10 minute. It would have been like a 10 or 15 minute span where like they start him and then they unstart him, and it was like 20 minutes before the game started before they even put him in. So something weird happened for sure.
Maybe he just wasn't feeling well. Like, who knows?
That's probably it. Right, Demko had a bad season to start the year, and he missed a few games too. So
Derek is the first to not take advantage of the Braden bye week this season.
oh, what a fucking loser!
Tying at 7. Honestly, I thought he was going to lose until late Sunday. Corey, what went down here?
Yeah, I wasn't watching this one too closely. It did look like Braden was going to win, but I don't know what the difference ended up being. Close week, 51 blocks for Derek. That's a lot of blocks there.
Yeah.
18 goals for Braden. Like that's insane. Let's see, Malkin got 3, Marchessault 3. Just really spread out. That's a lot of goals. Good on him to get a point. He hasn't won yet, Braden. Good on Derek to lose a point. I don't mind seeing that either, right? Keep him at 2-1-1. So, yeah, not much else to say there.
You got anything to add, Travis?
Yeah, just like I'm surprised that Derek lost 3 of the 5 goalie stats. Like his goalies are actually really good. So I'm not really sure how that happened.
Well, Ottinger is pretty good too, though, at least.
He is, yeah. But Mers was decent. Mers had a 909 where like he picked up Soderblom and Soderblom got fucking lit for like a 682. I think that in a 909 from Allmark was really the difference. Yeah,
I think it was.
What's that?
I was gonna say. I don't know. I think it was the goalie win that got him the extra point for the tie on Sunday. That's how Derek got the tie. It was the goalie win. So big win there. But just stay at 1 point. It's better than the loss.
That's it. You're still.
I would have taken that. I would have gladly taken a tie here.
I guess let's get to this one. Team Rocket getting his first win of the season. 7-6 victory over Saucier Pass. Breaking his undefeated streak. Corey, let's talk about this.
Man, it was like Tuesday night. He gets 2 shutouts in one night. Like unheard of. Like never happens. I lost shutouts with 1 shutout. Like my goalies would have been the 3rd best goalies in the whole league this week. I was managed to make it a week. I needed a power play point. I got one on Sunday with an assist, but his guy also assisted, so he also got the power play point. I couldn't get that tie. I'm pretty happy with how my team played. You're not going to win every week. My team played really well. I don't think I need to tinker. You know what? Take the loss. At least I made it competitive. But good on Kyle. Well, he's really shut up fucking Varlamov. 2 weeks now. He gets a shutout against me. Once with you, once with Kyle. Come on.
He's slated to start tonight.
Yeah, Sorokin's not holding the fort down like he usually does, right? So
that's great news for me this week.
Against Neil?
Yeah. Shest is out and Varlamov's going to start over Sorokin tonight. They have maybe 2 games after that. So
yeah, big win for Kyle here. Taking down the top seed too, and not go 0-4. It's just huge, right?
Separate himself from Sean a little bit.
Yeah, we're all cheering for it.
You got anything to add?
Yeah, like that's a tough one for Corey because like he had like a 931, and still loses a 2-11, lost goals against and saves, which is brutal.
1 shutout, still lose the category.
Yeah, like that's just not going to happen consistently, right? Like that's going to happen once out of like 7 weeks, maybe the most. Like, so like that's tough. Yeah, he grinded Bergeron, which has always been like Corey's thing. He's always got too much offense, but he's picked up that grit. He's get on that grit train. They tied shorties too. Like Corey even got a shorty, and they tied that for like you just can't buy a win sometimes. But yeah, Corey's team came to play. It's just Bergeron's didn't want to get shut out.
No, it looked like it was a good week. It was entertaining. I was watching football on Sunday with Bergeron, and he was saying, "He's like, I think I got this." He was pretty confident. He's like, "It's close." He he was out there making moves because he had the man games on him, I believe, right?
I did a little bit, yeah.
He was
For the
out there.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, he was out there making a move, which we'll talk about later. But like he was out there actively trying to pick up players that would help him get this win. He wanted this win bad.
Good on him.
Suck my Ojic, 2-2 after losing to Captain Crunch. 6-4 here. Dome will bring his record to 2-2. Travis, what went on here?
Being Domo, just being Domo, baby. Again, Domo's getting points. Like he had 10 goals and 31 assists. So like we might not know the names of half his players, but like they score. Plus minus is a stat none of us seem to really care about. He's plus 10. Most of us roll in the minus. He had 32 PIMs, which is a good number, 10 power play points. No shorties, no game winners, 92 shots. They tied. Decent amount of grit too, 31 and 32. His goalies were decent too, the 922. So like we can say we want to go Domo, but like that's a respectable week against anyone last week, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny, the big difference for him here was picking up Murphy because he ended up tying in shots. He had 1-by-1 block. And then Murphy was the reason he didn't lose those 2 categories and lose the week this week. He played a 3-round upgrade. We'll talk about that obviously, but it got him the win compared to the loss. So normally we're kind of against it because he does it every single Sunday. But this is one that it worked out. So
I tried to trade those 2 guys to I sent that trade to Mark the same time I sent it to Neil, but I think Neil was like living his life there, so I don't think he was really on the phone or anything. I think those guys had a block. They would have had enough shots. They only had 2 goals, so they were short there. I don't think they had an assist. So I think they would tie. If not, Neil wins. If Neil had been on his phone, he might not have accepted that trade either way. To pick up McLeod and Lazar, but instead I sent him to Mark instead, and it gave Mark the time instead of Neil.
yeah, I'm just checking to see what they got.
There's 2 goals for sure and a few shots.
5
Yeah, 2
shots, 1 hit, and 2 blocks out of just Lazar. So that would have been the
Yeah,
difference.
so Neil would have won.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good trade. We'll talk about that after. It was a very good trade for Mark, especially for 1 pickup grade, but tough week for Neil. Good week for Domo. His strategy worked again this week.
People's champion, baby.
Getting some points.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, like, did he have a lot of man games advantage? Because typically that's the thing, right? He goes for the
Total?
man game.
Neil had more. Neil had 50 and Domo had 42.
Yeah,
Wow.
50 to 42.
Yeah, Neil out man gamed him.
Yeah, his goalie situation is in rough spots though, Doma. 4 battle.
A 922.
Yeah, I know, but he has no guaranteed starter here.
I got Blackwood now too, sucker.
Yeah, yeah. He had Blackwood before. He had a starter. First trade we would talk about here, boys, was a pretty big one that happened after our show last week. We got the man here who was involved, so we're going to hear from him. Sauce pass here, picking up Marshaw, Rust, Yari, and an 18th for Hischier, Boldy, and a 6th. Tell me about this one, Corey.
Yeah. Mark saying that he didn't want Hischier. He wanted Meyer, and he just sent the wrong player in the request. He fucked up because I wouldn't have taken that with Meyer, but I'll take that with Hischier all day. I think I got a goalie for a fair good price. Hischier and Boldy arguably couldn't be keepers on other teams up front. They weren't super elite, so I didn't mind letting them go. I feel like I have guys that can replace them keeper wise already. I think I got goalie and Marchand for a fairly good price. So I would do that trade again.
Yeah.
I don't get fucking offers like this from him, that's for sure. Fuck yeah, like no, like me and you were talking earlier in that day too, right? And like Timo Meyer, like you're probably going to steal that trade, and he might be a keeper. You can't move him to trade like this. Brad Marchand, consistent guy ever. He doesn't really hit as much anymore, but again, he's still going to be good for like at least 60 points playing with Pastrnak, and a ton of power play points. He'll still get you some PIMs too. Jerry's a starter. There's really no one there to steal that job. I don't know who the backup is. Like you said, Nico.
Ned.
Ned, yeah, exactly right.
He's hurt long term.
he sure is one of those guys. Again, he's one of those strictly assists, gets a few goals, plays second line. Like he's never going to be a line one center. And I don't really know much about Minnesota. I know Boldy's supposed to be good, but like you said, really, it's just a 6 for Jerry and Marchand is how I'd look at it. And don't get me started on that.
Yeah, like I think Marshall's Boldy has some good upside. Like when I watched them play, he was slick with the puck. Like he looks like he has good hockey IQ. Yeah. But I think Marchand's even the best player in this trade still. That's not a goalie. Like he's doing a lot more than Hischier and Boldy were both hurt when he sent me this request too. So like that was also incentive for me to get healthy. Like so
yeah, you're in win now mode too. So for you to spend your 6 and get a goalie who he's not a high end starter, but he's like a 905, probably 902. And then like Brad Marchand, who plays on probably one of the best power plays in hockey, probably top 10, probably. Like for a 6 is nothing. You're seeing fucking Markstrom go for a ton. It's like, oh, I'll just give away Marchand and fucking Jerry for less. Why not? Like,
yeah, I put a feeler out for goalies. Yeah, you don't get those. I put some feelers out for goalies now, sitting with 3 of them, and no, nobody wanted to pay big price.
Oh, dude, I sent out like 3.
I think there's good value in running the 3 of them anyway. So
I've been shipping out those 6s left and right to people, trying to get like a goalie and a player with 3 6s plus, and like no one wants to budge.
It's because I'm seeing how hard it is to move it too.
Yeah, I got fine keeping the 6s for now. Probably sellers, but like I even called for Bob, but Burge doesn't want to move him. He won't move him. I didn't make an offer. He won't move him because he doesn't want the cock again. So he needs to build himself a gap over the cock, and then he'll start moving stuff. So I can't even get like Bob right now, for fuck's sake. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Go knocking for Huso.
No.
Dan has a lot of goalies over there now.
Yeah, I got 5 too.
Yeah, the Anaheim duo has been good for him. So
yeah, they have.
They've won 6 in a row. But I thought you stole this trade. This is yours easily. I don't know what Mark was thinking. He saw the prices that goalies were going for, and he gives you a better forward to go with the goalie for a big pick upgrade. Not gonna lie, it's 6 to 18. It's a huge upgrade, but he even gave you a 3rd player.
But I know he wants to get younger here, so that's part of the reason he wanted Boldy. That was the big piece he wanted because he sees him as a keeper going forward.
That's fine.
Price for that 6.
Pardon me?
Nonsense.
Yeah. He's just angry over there.
Just nonsense that happens sometimes.
Well, you two hooked up for a trade after. Big fan of Chandler Stevenson and a 15th going to Travis here. Lindholm and a 17th Lindholm at least going back to you, Corey. How'd this come about?
I don't even remember.
I didn't even want him. It's like we're always trying to talk hockey, and then me and Shane always used to talk about Chandler all the time. So then I'm like, do you want? I'm like, I'd like to trade Lindholm. He's like, well, I like Lindholm. I'm like, I like Chandler, and then we just I sent it with a pickup grade. I think he just accepted it. I think.
No, I think you had it earlier, and I pushed it back a bit.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I can't trade this pick because it's one of my last higher ones. I'm like, okay, send whatever. I don't want Lindholm. I do kind of regret that Meter trade, won't lie, but I got lots of picks now, so I'll tinker. I like to tinker. But yeah, Lindholm was kind of a regret. So like I like Chandler more, and to get a pick upgrade with this, I was fine.
This was my thoughts for me. Stevenson has been doing well only when he gets points. His deep stats haven't been there. No. So, and he's one of those guys you can't just move. So it was like I don't think he was good enough for me to want to keep going for my run. So that's why I was going to move him, and I think Lindholm was an improvement on there, and I took advantage of you being angry at him going 4 games without a point.
Did you need a shorthanded point last week?
He did.
It would have helped. I know. You know what?
Chandler's the man.
Chandler's the man. Doubt him.
I love Chandler. Been on 2 championship teams of mine. Great player. But either way, like him and Lindholm, to me, it's like it's a wash. They're both good players.
Yeah,
the only thing is the deep stats.
Lindholm's not scoring for sure, but it's just like Chandler does get the shorties and stuff. And like I said, I'm not really a big fan of the minus.
Typically puts up some blocks. Like
no, So he's only at 15 shots, 7 hits, 5 blocks this year, which is
Yeah.
very low. And he hasn't missed any time. And he barely broke the 100 mark in shots last year, and he didn't with hits or blocks either. So he's slowing down a bit in that sense, and that's why I was.
Maybe him and Stone playing together. It's a team game, Corey. Pass the puck a little bit. Fucking Edmonton offense is chucking everything at the net 45 feet away.
I'll trade you for Stevenson next week, okay?
Yeah, probably. I'm lonely over here, no trades.
That's what you live for. Casey here going out in the chat saying he had too many centers. Needs to move one. Suzuki was one of those names. Dre loves Suzuki. He's a Habs fan. Went out, grabbed him, cost him a 15th in Dumba, and he got a 17th back. Travis, what do you think of this?
I messaged Nick, that's a good upgrade. Like Nick Suzuki's he's a first line center, right? Dumba's really doing nothing with Arizona. But yeah, no, I thought it was a cheap
Played
upgrade.
well, but he's not putting up the stats that you need in fantasy.
He's a good hockey player, but not fantasy player, right? But yeah, no, Nick Suzuki's one of those guys. He gets you power play points. He plays alongside Caulfield. So he might not get as many goals, but he's gonna get you a ton of assists. He's gonna get a fucking massive minus to have him in the lead. But yeah, for a 15, you get yourself a line one center. Again, it's like picking up Elias Lindholm for like a pick. It's like you can't say no to that because they play line one. They might get you 4 points one night or none the next, but there's a lot of upside for nothing, right?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like Suzuki and just getting a 15th for him. Like I know you had too many centers. I don't think you take the first offer. I think I would have paid more than 15th for Suzuki.
He did say for a pickup grade, and he had a few names in there.
Yeah, no, I know, but I feel like he could have got more than this. Like I think Nick took this one away. I even made a comment to Nick about it too. I said, "Hey, I'm not just." He sent me a trade similar to this for one of my players for Rust, I think it was, and I'm like, I'm not going to let you pull another one like you did with Casey here, okay?
Yeah, get out of here. My pants are up.
No, I like the upgrade. Again, Suzuki's a good player. Dumba's playing well. He's not putting up the fancy hockey stats, so it's a good dump on Nick's part. Get a better player in return, and
pay nothing.
Casey got something he wanted. It was a pick upgrade.
Heck, Domo will pay more for a Sunday rental. Like
right?
He was pretty cheap this week. No,
I don't know. We'll get there.
We're there now because he bought from me right here.
If he had bought, I asked him this morning, he wanted the Ilbushkin guy. Ilbushkin I got off Shane. He didn't want the Jersey guys. So because he said no, if Neil had answered his phone and Neil took that trade, he would have cost himself the week. Because he wouldn't do the one time he wouldn't do a fucking pick upgrade. The one out of like 300 attempts.
So yeah. I didn't know he had an empty roster spot. Because we were talking on Saturday when we made this deal. And he wanted both my pickups. And he was gonna give me Barzal for 3 rounds. Like, well, then I have to drop an extra guy. We had an empty roster spot, which I found out when we accepted this trade. So no, it would have worked out. Like, it would have been fine, unfortunately. But nah, I got into the action there. I got a pickup grade here. Literally for a pickup, Sammy Blais and an 18th for a 17th. Anyone have anything to say about that?
But
it's kind of a meh trade.
Yeah, nothing. It's a rental for the player you wanted. Both of you got what you wanted.
I did all my selling on Saturday night. Well, all my ad drop selling, yes.
Yeah.
Then this guy comes knocking. Real worry about Nick there. Like, I want you to do it. It's like right now. We'll process it the next day, but we'll accept it now. He wanted Lyubushkin. So in exchange, Lyubushkin at 16th in exchange for Kulikov and a 15th.
That's a lot cheaper how I was supposed to get Lyubushkin. That's how someone else wanted me to get Lyubushkin. So I'll take it. I think he's actually a legit roster player. Like when Domo called him, like he's pretty gritty. So like I'm probably gonna keep him for a while. Like I said, I wanted him from someone else, but
he gets more ice time in Anaheim than he did in Buffalo when he was there. He got a lot of ice time in Arizona, but not like that. Very
exactly.
Yeah, 20 hits, 31 blocks already. Like,
Yeah.
and he's seeing more ice time.
I don't know what his minus is, but I don't think it's outrageous like my fucking San Jose guys. But...
He's a +4.
Woohoo! Can't
Plus
help
4,
it.
8 pims, and that's about it.
It's too good.
All right, we only have a few more trades to talk about, but we're gonna have to say that for part 2.
Sounds good.
Corey's fault.